In Newcastle upon Tyne, in the northeast of England, the City Council is in the middle of a 3-year programme to cut more than £110 million from its spending. 1,200 jobs are going. More cuts are to come. The changes have been particularly painful in poorer areas of the city.
Patchwork, here in the West End of Newcastle, is a small local charity working with young people at street level. Life is tough, not only for many of its clients, but for Patchwork too.
The government has made a lot of changes to the welfare system. Have any of those affected you?
The bedroom tax. I had a 3-bedroom flat. They moved us into the 1-bedroom, which is too small for me. I've got 2 kids. And I'm supposed to have them on the weekend, which I didn't get them on the weekend because there's nowhere to stay.
We're talking about a neighbourhood which is already desperately in need of support, neglected really at a state level, and then they just continue to further neglect. That's the way I see it, If the state was considered a parent, I'm sure it would be investigated by social services.
Across the city, the YMCA's Biker Youth Project is supporting local young people.
We did used to get quite a big amount of money through Newcastle City Council, but since the government cuts, the funding went out to tender, but we didn't get it. If we had more money, we would be able to do a lot more.
It's an absolute nightmare. There has been a couple of times where I've had to go to the food bank because I've had nothing at all. I felt like a pure scrounger. I've worked all my life. I don't like claiming benefits, and I will do absolutely anything. There's no set job. If there's a job there, I'll do it. If the government is saying there's jobs out there for people, they need to start showing people where the jobs are.
We have young people that come in here every day looking for jobs, and we'll sit on the computer with them. In the current climate, there is no hope.
No part of England has escaped the impact of the government's austerity programme, but poorer areas have been particularly hard hit. The northeast is more dependent on public spending than any other area of England, except London. Academic research says that over 2 years, most urban northeast local authorities are losing more than £300 for every household, 30% above the national average. In addition, the reduction in northeast households' income due to the government's welfare reforms is estimated to be nearing £1 billion each year.
The impact on the northeast's economic output from all these cuts has been put at nearly £1 billion, a huge gap for the private sector to fill.
The government dismisses talk of a north-south divide in its reforms of local government finance. But the north-east local authorities argue that the most deprived areas of England are suffering the greatest reductions in funding and spending power. At the same time, cuts are increasing demand and need. The government says it has put councils in the driving seat, rewarding them with more income for supporting local enterprise and building new homes.
Our cuts have been deeper than those in other places, and what we've seen is a real geographical inequity about the way that the government has implemented these cuts, with areas like Newcastle and many other parts of the north facing disproportionate cuts, while we've seen some councils in some parts of the country even get a cash increase.
But it's not only the city's needier areas which have felt the cuts. In relatively affluent Gosforth, a much-used park was looking overgrown and litter-strewn after the council cut parkkeeper and maintenance posts. Worried at the decline, a group of local volunteers got together.
People walking through the park expressed their pleasure and indeed their gratitude to the work that the volunteers are doing.
Some local people have made donations to support their work, but one called them scabs for doing so-called council jobs.
We felt that what we were doing was justified by the neglect, the condition that the park was in, and we weren't taking people's jobs in a direct way. This is not to say that perhaps the work that we do shouldn't be done by council employees.
The cuts have had a big impact on services across this city. More savings lie ahead. The future will look very different. In this economic climate, the challenge is to maintain the quality of life for this city. Tyne, Financial Times, Newcastle.